Good evening. These are my two favorite ways to build a fire. You have your flint and steel. In Vermont, I should have smashed that before because there's no good edges on here. Maybe I get a spark or two off it. That's the only thing you can really find in my area. And if there's something else I'm missing, please somebody in the comments inform me. But right here in the northeast is this quartz, and that will. I'm getting sparks on my side. There you go. And you can get a spark, but if I broke that right now, if I just took another rock and I broke a hunk of it, you got good sharp edges, but they break off real easy and it doesn't last long. You know, as you can see, that will give you a spark in Vermont. I prefer this here. I think that's flint, I'm not sure. That was sent to me by a fellow YouTuber. That one works good. This one works pretty good. And this one here. Now, I don't know the names of those. Can't think of her name. I'm having a terrible time of that lately. Leslie Hunt sent those to me. I cannot think of her YouTube channel name, but she had a good YouTube channel. She hasn't been around in quite a while. Diane Bonesteel sent me that piece, or a couple pieces of that. And the other way is the ferro rod. Nathan 4077 sent me these ferro rods. These 3 years ago, Nathan, 4. It was the first fire I ever lit was with a terrible little cheap Chinese-made ferro rod that was just a little piece. And I'm amazed I got a fire with it. It just, determination. And I've learned so much since then. I have one of Nathan's giant ferro rods with Tom Chitwood's handles on it. But this is by far my favorite. Just that simple rod. Bearded CB, if you're watching, that's a snap-on swivel. And I took the little block and the pin out, put some rings in it. It works really nice for this. Whoops, that makes a hole in it. I don't like to do that. Now, here in the northeast, my two favorite items is fat wood and white cedar. I cheat. I carry them with me. I don't search for them every time. Around my pack, I'm going to drill it. This is one I cleaned up tonight. I'm going to drill a hole through it. Saw John Capps do that. Stole the idea from him. Puts a lanyard through it, hangs it on his backpack. I do the same thing with a piece of white cedar. That's starting to get down. White cedar weighs nothing. I'm sure red cedar's the same. I've never dealt with it, but I have seen it in furniture. And for the ferro rod, you just, it doesn't take very much. And have your other stuff. If the woods are dry, I'll break twigs and stuff. If I can get my hands on white birch bark, I don't carry it with me anymore. Anybody see what? Yeah, okay. And I might make a couple curls. Now that piece of fat wood right there will make hundreds of fires. So you've collected your tinder, you're ready to go. For me, what works is to put a little bit of pressure down on the ferro rod, not to strike from up here. I like to get right close and come right down. Whoops, knock stuff all over. Just like that. That's what works good for me with them. I don't like it to come back on it because I have burned a hole in them. You can sand it out. I've had it like stick, like when you weld. If you've ever welded, sometimes that happens. Cedar will light with a ferro rod. Cedar dust will light. harder to make because it's so soft. And it smells really pretty. Doesn't take, there again, doesn't take a whole lot to get started. 2 chips. But the fat wood, I think, does work better. And that will light, and you can get by with just carrying the cedar. The cedar I keep inside the backpack, because if it was to get rained on and wet, it won't light very good. That's all you need to carry. That will start so many fires. Just that little piece and that little piece of cedar. You can see if you've got twigs and tinder ready to go, you know, boom, you have a fire. Now, the flint and steel, I am not that efficient with. I'm going to tell you that right now. This particular piece of cedar is not curling nicely. Now Vermont is a great state. People say, well, you don't get this, you don't get that. But Vermont is a very wet state. We get a lot of rain. We have a lot of humidity, which keeps your tinder in the woods not in a good shape. To go and gather pine needles in the woods, good luck. When they are giving you a forest fire warning, they will burn. But most times there's enough moisture in the ground in Vermont, so they're always damp. They're always damp. You want to get your tinder off dead branches up in a tree. You don't want to be getting it off the ground here in Vermont because it won't work. Now, you can use some fat wood with the other one. And it won't hurt. Now use char cloth. This is really light char cloth. I should have got some denim. I like heavy cotton, like a heavy sheet. This was muslin that you'd back a quilt with, and it works. I use toilet paper for this next step. You take a piece of rock here, I'll use this one. Come on top, and up here on the edge. Spark. Now put it in the toilet paper. Now pile this stuff on top of it. Some of that dust down in there. And I usually burn my fingers before I'm done. I always do that. And there you have your fire. You know, both ways work. Both ways work well. I use the Ferro Rod 98% of the time. I don't use matches. I do carry matches. I don't use cigarette lighter at all. I don't even know if I could. Yeah, I do carry one, I guess, but I don't use it. I rely solely on the Ferro Rod. If it's wet, dry it off. And it, you know, it'll fire wet. It'll spark wet. And I guess you could scrape some off from it and you know, it worked. But you can see that both ways build a fire. Bow drill, it's a lot to carry. I've done one friction fire. I have had no luck with the sun magnifying fire, but I haven't spent much time at it. David West is pretty near a master at that. He's a master with a bow drill too. He's very good with a bow drill. Well, thanks for watching. That's my two favorite ways to build fires.